So our next story, I think, is a case study in, I don't know, risk management, I think. At least that's the way I look at it. I have been slowly replacing all of our incandescent and CFL compact fluorescent light bulbs with LED bulbs in our house over the past couple years. The LED bulbs, they use about an eighth to a tenth of the power for the same amount of light. They run cooler and they last a whole lot longer. However, they are expensive, more expensive than incandescent or CFL, but way less so than they used to be. And as an example, I use 120 watt equivalent recessed lighting in our kitchen. Those LED bulbs used to cost, and I'm talking about 3 years ago, a whopping $35 each. Yeah. And I've got 6 of them. Yeah. So, do the math, a couple $100. Yeah. But the warranty is like for 7 years, so I don't care. I mean, they don't last 7 years. So I'm constantly, every couple years, I take one back and they replace it for free. So I'm basically free lighting for life is the way I look at it. Now those same bulbs cost about $20 for two. It's $10 each, from $35 to $10 each. So roughly 1/3 of the cost of what they were a few years ago. In fact, according to the Department of Energy, the cost of LED lighting has dropped 94% since 2008. And from 2014 to 2015, the number of LED installations grew by 160%. So more and more people are buying them. So of course, the cost of LED lighting has plummeted, which is great for energy and cost-conscious consumers. But as it turns out, this isn't so hot for those who manufacture LED lights. According to the article, drop in LED prices drives manufacturers away. The profit margins, according to that article, of traditional lighting companies are shrinking to the point where companies like, names you'll be familiar to you, GE, Philips, and one you're maybe not so familiar with, Osram Licht. Those are big light bulb companies. They are getting out of the lighting business because the profit margins are too small. And the problem is that LEDs are made by semiconductor companies or semiconductor devices who then sell those LEDs to the traditional lighting companies, GE, Philips, and so forth, which cuts into those companies' profits. I mean, there's the middleman or lots of middlemen all along the way from the semiconductor company to, let's say, Philips. And so it's cutting into their profits. And of course, at the same time, companies that have their own semiconductor houses are going, awesome, let's get into the lighting business, which increases competition, drives down prices, and you get the picture. Yeah. Oh, and to add insult to injury, LED lights last a whole lot longer than other light sources, so you don't buy them as often. So why bring this up? This is a classic case, I think, of not paying attention to emerging technology and preparing for it. Basic risk management from a sustainability, longevity point of view for your company's product lines. What is the state of a particular technology? How does it impact my company or its products? How do I mitigate that risk? Now, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine report that this article was based on hints at one way lighting manufacturers could have mitigated that risk, which is simply to leverage their own skill sets in other areas. After all, GE and Philips, these are not just light bulb companies, they're huge technology companies. Why not do something more with LEDs than simply light up a space? So think of things like, smart lights or connected lights, or even the form factor of the lights themselves. Using the technology that these companies already have, they could have added value to LED lighting, which would have increased their profit margins instead of getting out of the lighting business, which Osram Licht and I believe Philips also have. They sold off their lighting business or in the process of selling off their lighting business. The same idea really applies to all of us. What are the emerging technologies and how do you leverage them rather than let them put you out of business? Particularly in today's fast-growing technology environment, no matter what your business is, you have to keep on top of emerging technologies and how people use that technology. I mean, even a little media company like Quality Digest has to keep its eyes on that. We have to be aware of what's going on in electronic media. How is that going to affect us? Companies like Google and all the advertising going to Google, fortunately not all of it, but a lot of it, and how do you compete with that? How do you stay on top of it? You got to stay ahead of it in order to stay in business. My prediction is that this will be a big topic for this year, particularly with the new administration coming in. Technology versus jobs. What is taking the jobs away? Is it technology, or is it outsourcing? What is it? And I think we're going to have to really stay on top of what's going on with technology and jobs. There's a lot of talk going on about this, particularly in Silicon Valley right now, is how do you mitigate the effect of technology and jobs?
Yeah, I mean, the statement always is cannibalization. You always worry about somebody cannibalizing your business. Well, you want to cannibalize your own business, because if you don't, somebody else will.
Right.
You want to own that. I mean, the classic example of that actually was Kodak. And I didn't know this. I read this last year. Kodak actually a Kodak engineer was one who invented digital film technology, digital photography.
Oops.
And Kodak said, well, we can't get involved in that because 90% of our profits are based on paper.
Right.
So we can't embrace that technology because it'll end our paper.
So somebody else did.
Somebody else did, and what happened to Kodak and Kodak's paper?
There was no longer a Kodak company in Rochester. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, paper prints of photos.
Well, film too, by the way.
I mean, it's all pretty much going away.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kodak could have owned that whole thing. One of their engineers developed it, but they didn't want to do it because they were afraid of cannibalizing their paper business. Fascinating the way these things work, but
crazy.
Scary too. All right, thanks, Eric. Okay.